Hi everybody, welcome back to our video discussions about European politics and Eastern Europe, with the focus on Eastern Europe, but reform of the European Union, NATO and all the institutions of the Western world. This video is really very positive news. We have yesterday to celebrate that Croatia and Bulgaria were invited to join the ERM2. Basically, that's the Eurozone, the second step of the Eurozone, and also the banking union, the European banking union. Lagarde, the president of the central bank, has made a tweet yesterday congratulating the Bulgarian and the Croatian PM, and I would like to share into these congratulations and say, congratulations, it's really fantastic and it's really good. It was a long battle, Croatia joined in 2013, Bulgaria in 2007, and now it's 13 or respectively 7 years later. So now finally they have made this major step, and hopefully they can be floating the euro very soon. That will be great for the tourists, great for the consumers, great for everybody, great for the visibility of the European project, and that's really very good news. It will also reduce corruption, investment risk, it will increase the convergence of these countries with the European prosperity level, and that's really fantastic. And it's a major step after a long time. We had a freeze in enlargement, Eurozone enlargement. Now since, I think it's now since 2015 or 16 that Lithuania joined the Eurozone. So we have quite a long freeze already. And that's really very sad that we have lost some years now in enlargement, and we have to speed up. And here comes my point. Why, by the way, does it take so long from joining ERM2 and the banking union to really float the euro? Technically, this can be done very, very fast. And it makes no sense to argue that the Bulgarians should wait for seeing 2-3 years how the exchange rate develops. I mean, this argument is totally ridiculous. 20 years the Bulgarians have a currency board and a peg fixed currency exchange rate with the euro already. So there is no risk here. In Croatian case also there is no risk because there is all around the euro and it's a very important trading partner. So there is no risk in the Croatian case as well. We have anyhow decided to take them in with a higher debt level, but that's really when you look at the Belgian, Greek and Italian and also now the Austrian debt levels and other countries in the Eurozone who have very high debt level, that was really a good decision to take Croatia in as well. But now I call to float the euro in 2021 and not 3 or 4. We really have to speed up things here, and there's no reason to wait, and not technically, not legally, not in any kind of considerations. It's just a waste of time to annoy the investors, the savers, the Europeans who really hope that we have more unity and need more unity, and also inspire these countries with a clear sign of European solidarity, hope and growth now in this crisis. So Bulgaria, Croatia, congratulations, but float in 2021. And here comes the next point. Why is Romania not included in this enlargement round? Why Romania is excluded? They had a very bad government, the socialists, for some years now, and they were very corrupt, but the people stood up against it. There is now a conservative, a pro-market and a pro-European and pro-NATO government, and so please, why not? Romania in principle is economic success story, unprecedented, it's booming. The flat tax has proven very successfully. Everything works in economic terms. So please, Romania be included in ERM2 and in banking union immediately, and also join and adopt the Eurozone together with Bulgaria and Croatia in this mandate of Ursula von der Leyen. So these are very three important building blocks. Why are they very important building blocks in the whole strategy to enlarge the European Union, the Eurozone? Because the Romanian is very big case and very big economy, and it's also squeezing in a little bit the Hungarians, who are unfortunately so negative example of an economically successful country misled politically, and Mr. Orban is teasing and mocking the euro. And it's very important that Romania joins, Croatia joins, So that really, hopefully, there will be coming some reasons, at least to the Hungarian public, that it's utterly unfair that they cannot join the Eurozone because just of their leader having some bizarre philosophy on that one. Yeah, he has reduced taxes, so there is growth in Hungary. And this was very good, but what is needed now is to join the Eurozone, because only in the Eurozone you can really faster converge. Yeah? You have more investment security, you have less inflation, less interest rates, and that's really very, very important for anybody who invests, saves, any consumer, and you have much less corruption. Because currency manipulation is, of course, the prime driver of major corruption, and also the all attached to the corruption in the banking system, in the financial system. You can do so much if you control the central bank and the financial system, and all of the smaller political elites, they know that, and they do that, in various degrees. Obviously, Hungary, one of the worst examples, but this is happening all over the countries when there is no kind of European oversight via the European Central Bank. Only then we can really massively reduce corruption in the smaller economies inside the euro system. And that's why it's very important to join the euro and the banking union and all the regulatory framework attached to it. So we have now the case of the Czech Republic and Poland. There was presidential election this weekend. Probably they won't join the euro now with Duda. But nevertheless, we have to ask them, and we have to ask all the countries who really officially reject or delay the euro, like the Czechs, like the Hungarians, like the Polish. Please, if you're so rich that you don't need our most important instrument of convergence, fine, but please then say no to the new funding under the Corona Recovery Program. Say that you don't want this money. Say that you don't want EU subsidies. Say that you really are happy with yourself and you know better how to do it, Not wanting the euro? Okay, good. It's a free choice, But please, then say no to all the subsidies of the European Union, and we should simply freeze all the subsidies for the Hungarians, the Czechs, and the Poles as long as they don't join the euro. If you're rich enough, you don't need this instrument of convergence, of equality in Europe, of stability, of sound economic decision-making, of low inflation, low interest rates. You are rich enough? Well, good. But please don't ask for subsidies of the European taxpayers. It's so simple. It's so easy. And no to any more subsidies for non-euro countries who reject the euro, because there is no economic sense on that one. There is no reason. This is just blank populism and egocentric kind of devaluation fantasies or whatever kind of grandstanding. I cannot understand it, And there's no fairness, It's no fairness for the European investors investing in this country. There's no fairness for the SMEs in that country. There's no fairness for the consumers. There's no fairness for anybody, And why should we as European taxpayers subsidize such a nonsense politics, I cannot understand it. As I have said already in another video, we need the euro to enlarge fast towards the Eastern European countries, include all of them. I've talked now about the 6 EU members. But the same is also true for the new countries who want to join, the 9 countries. And we have now already, as I mentioned, 2 euro adopters, Montenegro, best regards for Montenegro. It works perfectly fine. It was an amazing success story the last years of having only the euro in Montenegro. The same is true for Kosovo. Kosovo is now richer GDP per capita than Georgia, who is a wonderful reformer. And why is that? Because of the euro. And why is Montenegro so successful, has already caught up to Bulgaria? Because it has the euro, and this is very good. Bosnia and Macedonia have pegged the currency, like Bulgaria did it, and Lithuania in the past. That was really very good. So 4 of the 9 countries have a pegged currency. In the Western Balkans, there's Albania and Serbia, who have the currency, unfortunately, not with a currency board and flexible exchange rate, and it's utter nonsense. If you really want to join the European Union, please now fast back to the euro and stop this flexible nonsense. We are in a big internal market. These are very small countries and small economies. It makes no sense to do these flexible exchange rates. Yeah? We can do the solidarity in transfers. Yeah? We can do the solidarities in subsidies, yeah? But not to go their own way to increase the competitiveness via this instability instrument of flexible exchange rates. That's maybe good between the dollar and the euro, but it's not good for Albania. It's utter nonsense. It's a megalomania, and it's egocentric megalomania. It's not what we do in Europe, and it's economically useless. It threatens the international investment positions in your country. It threatens the SME investment security. It is utterly nonsensical, and it's only done in order to keep the control of the central bank and the financial system and all its corruptive manipulation opportunities. And this is wrong. So we have the same case now in the beautiful country of Ukraine, because Ukraine, Moldova and Georgia want to join the EU and NATO. Fine, absolutely. I have made many videos about that one already. But now Zelensky has basically forced the resignation of the central bank president, and he has already immediately announced that he wants to have $30 to the hryvnia, so a 10% or 11% devaluation of the hryvnia. So the logic is very clear. Get control of the financial system, get control of the central bank, devaluate your currency, get control of how the banks are organized and how the money is distributed in the financial system, and somehow get rich. And this is manipulation, this is mega corruption, and this is really terrible. This is absolutely wrong. And it happens at the same time when most of the subsidies go into these countries. So that's not really useful. We have done 15 billions of subsidies and loans towards Ukraine, and a lot of support is going. And then this kind of policies, it's really not good. It's wrong for the European taxpayers, it's wrong for the Ukrainian taxpayers, it's wrong for the Ukrainian SMEs, it's wrong for the European investors investing in Ukraine, it's wrong for anybody but for the political elite of the country who does it, because they can somehow smooth over their own inability to reform by devaluation, and they can also somehow create the illusions of progress via inflationary policies, and printing money, basically. This is utterly wrong, and we shouldn't tolerate it, and we shouldn't support it. The better policy is to make, it can be also 30 to the dollar or the equivalent to the euro, and then peg it there and then stabilize the situation in our bilateral relation, EU-Ukraine, EU-Moldova, EU-Georgia, and make very clear to everybody where the road goes to. All these countries' elites say anyhow they want to join the European Union, and there is also no other union to join. There is also no kind of alternative for anybody but Russia. Okay, that's always an alternative. The Belarusians seems to go that way. But the other, that actually has the most terrible currency history of all, in the last 30 years. It's a complete disaster, even worse than the hryvnia, who is the second biggest disaster in currency policy in the last 30 years in all of Europe. So ultimately we come to the point. And there is 4 of 9 countries who are backed already, and now we need that the rest of the 5 countries, when they really want to join the European Union in the next decade or in the decade afterwards, without the prior currency board, a pact, a fixed exchange rate, an end of currency manipulation, devaluation, and disastrous kind of manipulation and corruption in the currency system, there should be nobody allowed even close to the European Union anymore. We don't want the Orban case with the forint in the European Union in the future. I mean, it's a disaster. He's mocking us afterwards. It's really, it's really bad. And the same is now with Zelensky. And others will copy it. And also what the dinar, the Serbian dinar, give that as an example. It's now at 120. It was 60 before the financial crisis. This is all, the Italian lira once again. It's bad for them, it's bad for us. It's just, for a tiny oligarchic elite connected to politics, it's wonderful. because they control some parts of the export economy. In the big industry they have privatized, or in some really big latifundia, and for them, in this specific segment of maybe 100 families and the political elite attached to it, it's a wonderful policy, yeah? And the rest can watch and get poorer. It's disaster. It's disaster, huh? And it's happening under our watch, yeah. And it's also very unfair towards the countries who are good Europeans and peg the currency to the euro and are seeing the others to devalue and then to be in that export commodity markets very much competitive, yeah, and outperform them. And that's also wrong. So, when I now have to celebrate, and I'm with pleasure, and that we have Croatia and Bulgaria in the ERM, and congratulations, that's a very big step. Yeah? It's really the one big step of the last years, yeah? And we can celebrate that. But we have to be fast on that. And the next step, obviously, is Romania to build up pressure by cutting subsidies on the free euro rejectors, and to make sure that either pact or adopting, I'm actually for adopting, I think you know that from the previous video on this topic, it's much better what Montenegro and Kosovo did, especially for the smaller countries, but actually for all 9 countries who want to join the European Union, it would be the best to simply go into the euro immediately, not in the Eurozone, but unilaterally use only the euro and their own currencies. It's currency patriotism is not what we do in Europe. It's also totally wrong to somehow build national identity on the Rivna project, which is anyhow so fragile and has such a really sad history of 25 years of existence and constant devaluation, losing so much of its value, over 70%. Yeah? And so, again, back first, that we can ask from everybody who is a big subsidy receiver and who wants to join the European Union, especially Albania, Serbia now is very much the priority. If Mr. Vucic is really seriously on joining the European Union, which he said in his famous in his famous Politico interview just 2 weeks ago, well, he wants 2024, 26, okay, good, yeah, but then get on with a pact to the euro and stabilize your currency system, connect it to the European currency system, join the banking system, a regulatory system. And the same can be asked from the Moldovans, from the Ukrainians, from the Georgians, and here the priority is obviously on the Ukrainians. It's the biggest economy, it's very important, it's the most fragile state, it's under attack, it wants to join NATO, wants to join the EU, it's always claiming that they're really very pro-European, but, in the currency, then it stops the solidarity and it's going down very fast, whenever it's already so much down from the last 2 shocks of 2008, 2014, 2015, 3 shocks already. So good. In concluding, congratulations for this big step, but now we have to speed up and we have to have a euro system of 34 countries who are joining, either as full members in the Eurozone. That's basically from the 19 we have now, plus 2 and 4, that's basically 25. And then we have 2 adopters already, and then we should have 9 adopters. So basically 25 plus 9 adopters, that's the euro of 34 countries, and it should be in this mandate by 2024, and not somewhere in the future, vaguely in decades to come, like the French. By the way, happy National Day for the French. But we need speed now. We need progress, and it's also the question of relevance, which is so important for the French always. Mr. President says always, Emmanuel Macron says always, we have to have what he calls it, strategic autonomy. It's a nonsense concept, but nevertheless, okay, we want to be more important on the global stage and more relevant. There's nothing bad on being relevant. But you are not relevant when you say that you are important, but then there's countries in the eastern periphery which want to join and we reject them. There is no kind of speed behind enlargement. We only get relevant in this kind of fragile Eastern European area. We're not getting relevant in Africa or in China. This is an illusion. We are not so powerful and we are not so strong. But what we can really do is get the euro to 34 countries, and extend the Eurozone and have a Euro Pact or Euro Adopter Zone in Eastern Europe, adding that one as well to the African Pact Zone. Don't forget that we have these 14 African countries back to the Euro as well. So we can get some relevance and some global standing with the Euro, but only with Romania, with Poland, and with Ukraine. And these are important countries, and this altogether is really the way for your global relevance of the Euro is in Eastern Europe. And so yesterday's decision was really very important. More to come, and speed matters here. We are doing the right thing, but we have to do it faster, with more conviction and more dedication, and with more resolve. This is very important. So please, for the Euro of 34 countries, congratulations Bulgaria, Romania, but it's 2021, not somewhere in the future. I want to travel for Croatia, travel for Bulgaria, pay in the Euro with the credit card systems and the electronic payment. This can be switched by the mouse click button of the financial system, and it is the way to do it, and do it fast. Congratulations, thanks a lot.